noise for the very funny Big Ben Matthews! The other day, 3 people verbally abused me for about an hour. Pulled out my trousers and was trying to steal my MP3 player. It's not easy being a children's party entertainer.
The first thing is you have to organise your audience really well, and that can be difficult in Hong Kong because the parents are also there in the room. You can't organise the parents, yeah. If they're loud, if they're loud and they're talking, you just got to stand there and just take it, yeah. But so I can be reasonably aggressive in trying to organise the crowd exactly the way I want it. Where they sit down, who sits where, and get the troublemakers up the back.
Wow.
So they can't really reach out and grab your stuff. You work it out pretty quick. But the main thing is, with a birthday party, you have to warm the kids up. So you come in, you have to establish some boundaries. Yeah. Unless you're like a roving clown where you can do whatever you want, and the kids like, oh, this guy's crazy, he's so much fun. And I like those kind of jobs sometimes. But with birthday parties, the only way you're going to be able to do a proper show is to establish boundaries. The kids have to sit down, they have to pay attention, they can't stand up, they can't grab your stuff, they can't push your music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you have to, you got to ride that line between being the teacher, kind of the authority figure or the parent, and being the clown.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a bit like doing stand-up comedy for a drunken crowd.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the kids, they've been to 3 birthday parties already that weekend, and they think they can do anything. They sit down, they start rooting around in your bag when you're not looking. And they have sometimes they have zero respect. Sometimes they have great. Sometimes they have great respect, and they do respect you as a performer. But sometimes they're all over you if you're not careful. If you're too friendly when you start out and in the first 5 minutes, and you get to give them too much freedom, then the next 55 minutes is going to be really hard work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, some shows are impossible.
Yeah.
You just got to write them off and be like, there's no way I can control this crowd without physically restraining someone. So, you just got to... I've had a couple of shows like that where there's no way. The kids are just completely off their heads.
And what happens?
We used to do just go like, what kind of party is this? Is this a Halloween party or is this?
Yes.
So you like, you do. I do that.
No, it's not. It's a birthday.
And I'm like, it's my birthday party. Thank you, everyone. That's that kind of thing. And then hunt for the birthday girl.
I've starting my shows like that as well.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, because they like get really like into it. Except for I saw one entertainer do it once. And he did it for too long, and the birthday girl started crying.
No.
She thought that he genuinely didn't know it was my birthday.
It's my party! It's not Christmas! Mommy, tell him!
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, okay, so now I like keep it pretty short, just in case that happens.
So on the front of like tips and tricks of how to control people. Let's take it down to the root of it all, and that is your rapport with your audience. Yeah. And once you've focused on that from the beginning, if you can win the audience from the beginning, then you've won.
Yes.
Then you should be in control. There should be nothing that you should be fighting for the show. Because if not, if you're too much in your head, then you can be out of control of the audience. Doesn't matter whether it's a bunch of kids or whether it's a bunch
if you're doing the show if you're doing the show for yourself and you're in your own head,
exactly,
and not paying attention to what the audience
you're gonna lose it. I learned this from the worst gig that I ever did.
Excellent.
In the world.
I love
well,
it
was because I asked you. I says,
I'm sure he can't be
as bad. He says, "Can you do a podcast?" I said, "Well, what kind of questions are you going to ask?" He says, "Well, best gig, worst gig, any tips, your backstory, whatever." And I'm thinking, God, the worst gig. Oh yeah, I remember the worst gig. This was one where I was totally in my head because I was working outside an outside gig. And I had my PA system set up and my backdrop. I had only Spiderflex backdrops and everything.
Spiderflex?
Spiderflex. It's like it's a pop-up display stand with a curtain on it, just as a backdrop. Yeah. And it was windy, and so this backdrop kind of halfway through my show, and I quickly tied it up with a piece of like rope from a routine, and then I realised, shit, I need the rope, and so I started to lose control of my audience. However, one kid started to throw stuff onto the stage, which had never, until this day, had never happened to me. But then all of the kids started
They
throwing
do.
stuff. And they were throwing everything and anything. Anything they could find. They were like running like other places in this park to get things just to throw at me. And I'm going, and I just wanted to cry, and I says, okay, thank you very much. The show's over. Go and enjoy yourselves, and off I went. The booker didn't know what to do. He didn't know whether to feel sorry for me or to say, hey, you couldn't control the people. What's wrong with you? You know. But if anybody, I would say that the tips on rapport is a big one. If you think about a school teacher needs to be in control of their class.
Yeah.
A good tip that I learned from, I want to say David Ginn. I want to say.
We'll name check him later.
It was a lesson about how to show that you are the boss and that you are the leader, and I still use it today. When I do my street shows in Disneyland, I have all the kids to stand up straight, and as you do that, as you get them to stand up straight like a soldier, they all do it. It's like a command.
Yeah.
So now you're the chief.
Yeah.
I get them to move back a little bit, and I get them to come forward a bit and move back a little bit. Now I'm in control. Now I'm the leader.
Yes.
You establish that you are the leader,
Yes.
just like any dominant male does. You
Yeah.
know, any alpha male in the pack.
Yeah.
That's how we're looking at it. It's primal. It's a very primal thing.
Right.
So to do that, so one of the things that I would say is, and it's an old gag. It's an old gag, but there's a deeper meaning to it. Is that you say, okay, it's the whole idea. Who likes magic? You know, people are going to say, hey, because you've just asked the question, which means you are the quiz master. But you've given them an option to answer.
Yes.
You're not telling them what to
Yes.
do. You say, you know, everybody sit up straight, or whatever. You know, you're not the quiz master, and you're not giving somebody an opinion. You're telling them what to do. You become the leader. That's really good for young audiences all around the world. Just depends how you do it. It's the whole thing of it. Hey, put your hand up if you're here. Are you here? Hey, put your hand up. Put your hand up. You know.
Yes.
Oh, you're here. Good. Why's your hand not up? Are you not here? Put your hand up. You know. Put your hand up if you're not here. All that. You know, the old gags. But that actually works really well in getting, in my opinion, to get the rapport.
So you establish yourself as the leader, and you build up a rapport. I think you're right. I think there's lots of different ways of controlling the kids, but I think the most important thing is you've got to be aware that that's a potential problem. That you've got to be aware that you've got to have some technique for controlling the kids. When things have gone wrong for me, it's normally because I've been in a rush and just turned up and just gone straight into my show and been in my own head. And then about 10 minutes into the show, I realise it's total chaos and I'm really going to have problems controlling the kids for the next 50 minutes of this birthday party. And as long as you start and you remember before you begin that it's very important to establish some kind of control. And there's different ways to do it. You can be quite strict. You can be very strict, you know, and don't loosen up until the second half of your show. And so, you know, the kids are almost like intimidated by you, which is fair enough. You can do that. You can be kind of, or you can. Another entertainer I quite thought was a good idea. She used to focus on the kids who were doing things well. Like, look how well you're sitting down. Oh, very good. And the kids who were being restless, somehow they want to sit. They want to be praised as well, and they'll start sitting well.
It's true. There is a lot of these things. It's very complex. We'll say that. It's funny.
I think the main thing is just to be aware.
There's books and books on this sort of stuff, and a lot of it comes down to your own personal experience, and we can take. I would just suggest to anybody that you would just take notes after every show. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. To say what went wrong, why didn't that work?
Yeah.
What could I change? What could be better?
Yeah.
Why did that happen? Why did the annoying kid keep being annoying?
Yeah.
Is it because he's an annoying kid, or is it because he just wanted a bit of attention? Because it's just the thing. Why didn't you give him a job on the stage to do?
Yes,
you
another
hold
good
this,
one.
you
You
hold
can
the
be the
you hold the
policeman,
handkerchief,
you
hold
can-
it there,
yeah.
and hold it high in the air. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. Isn't he doing a good job? You know,
Yes.
you praise them, and they get all proud because they wanted the attention.
Yes.
They got it.
Yes.
You know. It's like when you perform for drunk adults, you know, you get the heckler, you know.
Yeah.
The heckler's that annoying kid.
Yes.
Yeah, so you give them a bit of attention. Well, it depends what your style is. You might be a very aggressive comeback artist, you know, or you give them you shut them up by being kind to them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it depends on your persona as well.
I think it just comes down to you have to be aware of it and not forget. Sometimes I forget if I'm rushing to a show, just to take a few moments to build a rapport and to build control at the start. Because if you try to build control after they've gone a bit chaotic, that's 10 times as hard.
It's creating boundaries as well. I think is quite a
Yes,
it's a big one.
yes.
It's doing the magic tape on the ground. You know, this is when you create your stage space. I mean, some people have bigger stage apparatus or whatever, so you might need a bigger stage and everything. I've seen people do like little cones with little chains, you know, that look sort of thing. For me, that is an absolute no, like, because they're just going to play with them, knock them over, pull them. They're going to make tug of war while you're just in the middle of like
the idea is
moment.
right, creating your own space, but maybe putting up a fence isn't going to work.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, a cage would be nice. Yeah,
a cage would be good.
Perform in a cage. Yeah. But yeah, doing like the tape on the ground and all that business. Like for just now, in Disneyland. Look, I'm working in an environment that is 100% designed to make people look in every direction.
Yes.
Try it and get people's attention.
You're talking about not shows in a theatre in Disneyland, actually outside.
It's in the park, yeah.
In the park, yeah.
So my distractions are character greetings that are going on quite kind of far
the
behind,
big mascots,
behind me.
Mickey Mouse is walking around.
We've got Mickey Mouse, we've got Winnie the Pooh and Donald Duck. They're all behind me.
Yeah.
We've got the Winnie the Pooh ride that plays music, a carousel that's running around, teacups. There's all sorts of things. There's the chiming of the tower and the castle. There's all sorts of things going on. There's a show that Merlin does, and it's near the carousel.
Right.
There's stuff going on all the time. There's a parade at 3, and then the Lion King shows at this time. And there's all sorts of things, and Disneyland is brilliant. I mean, you get definitely value for your money for sure. But as far as I go, why do people want to stop and speak to me? Why do people want to watch my show? I better give them something, you know. But because there's this chaotic movement of people, I have to establish my stage. Now, there's street performers all over the world love to lay down their chain that they might use at a later time in their show, or a piece of like the rope, climbing rope that they might use for an escape, or a slack rope or something. For me, I have a bottle of water with a hole in the top, and I draw a water line right round.
Yes, I've seen it on your videos.
Yeah, and it works.
Brilliant.
It's kind of like the people who are sword fighting. They draw the line in the sand. It's like, there's the line. This is my side. That's your side.
That's fantastic.
So establishing boundaries and stuff. I don't know. I always take it back to how the primal things, like how monkeys work. You know, like it's actually quite simple.
Yeah.
And I work non-verbally. I do make noises, and I'll use funny sounds, and I work a lot with a whistle, which is used by clowns all over the world to convey instructions with people, and it works very well for street.
And it'll work very well when you've got a multicultural
massively.
audience of different languages.
I can explain an entire routine to them through this whistle, and then at the end of it, I just go, and they all go, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wait a minute, I've got Korean people here, Japanese people here, the Germans here, the Canadians here, and they're all going, yeah, okay, we got you. And I'm going, isn't that amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week I did a show, and a girl had seen me at her party before, and we were doing some sort of tug of war, and she decided to start attacking the boys' team with her fists. So I immediately jumped in, no, stop, you can't do that. And she started crying.
Oh no!
But she was being really naughty. Okay?
Yeah.
She was being too over the top.
Yeah.
You can't hit the other team.
Yeah.
I think she felt they were pulling too hard, and they didn't stop pulling. She might have had a point.
Yeah.
I might have said stop, and the boys might not stop pulling.
Yeah.
But she shouldn't have started hitting them.
Yeah.
So I said, no, stop that. And then I saw she was on the side, tears in her eyes. So I have this thing called I have this sign, which I bring out saying, "You're a winner! First crying child gets a candy." And 99% of the time that gets a big laugh, and she's happy because she's won the candy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately this time, for the first time ever, I became aware of something. Because she was a little bit older, she didn't want anyone to know that she was crying.
Of course.
So by drawing attention to it, actually made it worse.
No.
But you live and learn.
Awful.
You live and learn.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah.
I go out into the audience like I normally do, and when I find a kid, like every other kid starts like following me, and the one kid starts chasing me. What happened was, I tried to get the kid up on stage, and like a whole bunch of kids start following.
Yes, I do that.
So like this long line of kids, and they're all coming up. And that was, I think, when I decided to sort of keep moving. And so I ended up going all the way around the back of the theater. And by that time, it was becoming a bit of a joke. And they were all following me. So imagine I'm running, and they're all chasing me. all around the back of the house. There's a giant ice skater. And they chased me back, and when I go up on stage, there's still a bunch of people coming up on stage. And somehow we managed to get most of them to leave, but really 3 of them were hanging out on stage.
Yeah,
They never had anything close to this happen.
They were still on stage, the last 3.
3 of them were on stage instead of 1. And one of the 3 was a really young one, like virtually a toddler.
Yeah.
And, nobody was doing anything about it. Toddler there. And so I kind of diplomatically, okay, we'll have 2 volunteers, and I'll give each one of them something to spin. And I even came up with something to hand. I think it was the shtick shabab, as I called it. I had an item that I was able to, I put the little one up sitting on this road case shelf that was there, sitting on a box. Yeah. And that seemed to work, and I gave them something to spin with, and I thought, okay, I've solved the problem now. They'll be perfectly happy to sit here and wait for me to come and spin the plate, right?
Yeah.
And so I got something going with the other 2, but this little one just became kind of inconsolable, and I wasn't sure what I could do differently if it wanted to be part of the act, but then I didn't seem happy being part of the act. Really, it probably was just thinking about following the others around, and I don't know if they were siblings. They weren't really particularly acting like it. These kids can't all have had the same parents. I mean, there were too many of them. But so again, this went on for quite a while, and nobody coming up, like no parents sort of coming to the foot of the stage, like, come here, dear, or something.
Oh, no.
Like who to return. Exactly. And I think it was a translator who ultimately bailed me out and sort of came out and carried the kid, because then I was in a bad position to leave the stage, having brought up other kids.
Yeah.
And I think she was the one. I think she might have actually taken them backstage at that point.
We had a juggling show at a party, and this juggling guy did this trick where he gives the what do they call them in juggling?
Juggling clubs?
Yeah, it's clubs to one of the kids. He goes, throw it at me, and then I'll juggle it. And this older kid turned around and just lobbed it at one of the other kids, and split his head open.
Oh my God.
And there's blood everywhere, and it was a nightmare. That was really bad. Luckily the mother was like, oh my God, it's nothing to do with you guys. Luckily she was watching, because otherwise it could have been like the entertainer at the club. And another time my friend just she couldn't control one of the kids, and she was like, what I did to make him behave? I picked him up and I turned him upside down and I shook him. And I put him the right way, and I was like, is that safe? She was like, yeah, he was like 5. It was okay. I never had to do that.
Entertainers should not discipline children in their show.
Yes, a good point.
That's something that I feel very strongly about, because when you are a child, somebody, an entertainer, becomes like somebody that's extraordinary. If you bring up the child and you tell them how good they are and all the positive stuff, right?
Right,
they feel good about themselves, and they actually try to be better. But if you tell them that, no, you shouldn't do that, you're horrible, you shouldn't do that, stop saying that, shut up, things like that. I've actually heard entertainers do that. It's really, really horrible. I cringe every time I hear that. That brings down the self-esteem, because if someone as so-called elevated as a performer during your birthday party says that to you, you feel like, oh wow, I'm really nothing. I'm as bad as what my parents think I am. I actually have children coming up to me, when they are like 21 or 22, I meet them on the streets, and they come up to me and they're like, hi sweetheart. I'm like, oh, did I do your birthday party when you were young? And then they'll be like, yes, and you know what? You said I was magical and I can do anything if I really, really want to.
Yeah.
But that changed my life. I was like, wow. Really? It was like, yeah, because my parents were always saying how horrible I am, how naughty I am, how, unable I am to do anything. I can never do anything right. But in that party, you showed me how magical I can be and how I could actually do more than what I thought I could.
Mm.
So
Well,
it actually helps in their self-esteem as well.
yes, yes. Yes, that's, I think this is one of the biggest...
And one real point is I had this little boy. He was heckling me the entire time from the time I first came in.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Can I touch your boobs?" I was like, I looked at him and I was like, "If you can find them." And then he laughed and everybody laughed as well. And then later on he was like, "Why are you sticking your hand up his ass?"
Oh.
I had a hand puppet at
Yes.
the time. I was like, "Wow, you have the nicest, loudest voice. Can you come on over?" He expected me to say something really bad to him. But I was like, "Because your voice is so loud, I bet if I walk to the end of the room, I can still hear you say happy birthday. Do you want to try? If you can do that, you win a prize."
Wow.
So he forgot all about, trying to heckle me.
Oh.
And he was just like trying his best. And then when I got back, I was like, "You know what? You have the loudest voice I've ever heard so far. So can you do something for me?" And then he'll be like, "What?" I was like, "Can you keep everybody very quiet?"
Yes.
And then he was like, the entire time he was watching everyone to make sure that they'll be quiet, so he forgot to heckle.
Oh, brilliant. That's,
And then his mom came up to me and she was like, "I've never seen him so quiet before. What did you do to him?" And then she was like, "Can you come for his birthday party next year?" I was like, "That's 1 year late." And then she was like, No, I'm very sure I want you to come." I was like, "Well, you can call me again."
Yeah.
And then the following year she called me and she was like, "Do you remember the boy who was really, really naughty and he was trying to disrupt your show and wanting to touch your boobs and everything?" I was like, "Yeah." Then she was like, "He wants you for his birthday." I was like, "Are you sure he's 10 years old this year?"
Wow.
I was like, I actually don't do 10-year-old boy parties because they are kind of like against girls at that age.
Yes.
But I did it anyway, and they were all like ACS boys. ACS is like very misogynistic and all.
Okay.
Because it's an all-boys school.
Okay.
So they think girls are stupid.
Yeah.
So I went to do that party, and it was amazing. Because he was still in that mode where, he's like a natural born leader.
Mm-hmm.
Just that before that, everybody saw him as a naughty kid.
Yeah.
But when you put him in a leadership position, he becomes the leader.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, because...
Yeah, so tell entertainers, try to uplift the child, not depress them.
Oh, I like this. Yeah, I think it's your own personal style, and you've got to come up with some way of dealing with the problem of hecklers and naughty kids. And people have all...
I get that a lot, because I'm like I'm actually the only female clown for the past 20 years in Singapore.
Wow.
So I get a lot of different responses. But I always try to, approach it in a very positive way.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting way of doing it. Yeah, because sometimes I feel like a grumpy teacher. I mean, just constantly, "Please sit down, let me do my show, let's sit down." But I love...
yeah, and instead of telling them, "Please sit down," if you say, "The first person to sit down gets a prize," that works better.
That's a good idea, yeah.
And then I'll be like, "Okay, let's see, whose bum can touch the ground first?"
Yeah.
And then we make it really exciting, and they don't even know we're trying to, get them to sit down.
Yeah, I like that. That's a very good approach.
"Oh, I'm only going to look for someone to help me, and that the only person that's going to help me is someone who's sitting down." Who's sitting down? Who's sitting down? If they're still not sitting down, you just keep repeating it until it goes into the head.
Yeah, so you are imposing discipline, but you're doing it in a fun way, so they don't even realise that they're being told to behave themselves. That's great.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's lots of ways of doing it. I think actually, my feeling after talking to lots of entertainers is it depends on your personality and your act what will work for you. And obviously there are some entertainers who do lose it and just kind of lose their tempers and they put the kids down. there's other entertainers.
A lot of magicians do that.
Yeah.
They use the word stupid.
Yeah.
They use the word like idiot and things like that.
And I don't blame them because
why are they doing that?
I don't blame them though, because it can be very hard, and it's not easy to control the kids. But I like your idea.
What you have to do is to get them to be part of the show instead of watching the show.
Yeah.
Because if they're part of the show, they don't want to disrupt it.
I think that's a very interesting and a very exciting approach. I'm glad we put that in the podcast. That's really, really good.
Yeah, because this is for entertainers. So
that's right.
I get so irritated listening to entertainers who are nasty to children.
Yeah.
And people who make fun of the kids, like make them lay eggs and things like that. That's traumatic, actually.
Make them lay eggs?
Yeah, it's a magic trick, where you make it look like they're laying an egg.
Oh, from their bottom.
Yes, and all the other kids will tease them about it for the entire year.
Oh, okay, got it.
So it's really, really horrible. I mean, there could be other ways of presenting the same thing, the same gag thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were, I don't know, I saw this magician do that, and then after that the kid actually went off crying because he was so embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think it's a very good approach.
But it really depends on how you do it. If you make it all fun, and the kid is laughing and you do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you laying eggs? Then that's horrible.
Yeah, if you embarrass the kid and he's being teased for the rest of the party, the rest of the week, the rest of the year, that's not a good thing.
The rest of the year, yeah. They'll keep remembering, you're the chicken, you laid an egg.
Brilliant. Vivian, brilliant.
It happened only once and was the first time I get to perform here in Hong Kong.
First time?
It was at the Ocean Park.
Okay.
And,
what happened?
What happened was that everything was okay, but the kids were playing and jumping around. One of the kids pushed my table and the table fell on the thing. I have to pick up everything. That was the only time I remember that happens. And
why don't they disturb you? They disturb me. They disturb every other entertainer.
Well, no, I have a.
Your assistant.
Not only assistant, I have a system.
A system. Okay.
I have a system.
You have an assistant and a system
that I use to deal with the kids.
What is your system?
Basically, I do a pre-announce of what's going to happen on the stage.
Yeah.
And I also tell them that there will be 2 tables on the stage. They, in order for me to give them a better show, they must be seated. They must do no jumping or running around. No cell phones or anybody. I want them know that I'm giving them something special to them, but at the same time, if they interrupt, it doesn't become special anymore.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that they get this message.
So this is how before you begin, you tell them this.
Basically, I introduce myself. Once again, like I mentioned to you, my name is Jose Antonio. I have a great show lined up for all of you. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it very much.
So about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a bit more now, I really had to step back from birthday parties. Because I was getting, I was doing it for the money. I was getting a bit jaded, just a bit jaded. You know, they're all spoiled brats. And I had one kid, I think he hit me in the balls. I don't remember. And I just immediately whacked out. It was just a reaction, and I just knocked him on top of the head.
You hit him.
I didn't hit him hard. It stopped him from whatever he was doing. But it stunned me. It stunned me to realize. I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. This isn't.
You might really do something bad.
No, I would never do anything.
But you reach the limit.
I realised that the feeling that was coming from wasn't a good place.
Yeah.
And I wasn't enjoying it.
Hello, thank you for inviting me for the birthday. Okay, who's the birthday child? Oh, okay, the one hitting me in the balls, right? This is going to go on for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to keep smiling while the kid continually hits me in the balls.
You gotta have, in my opinion, with kids, there's kind of a couple of ways of dealing with them. But I feel like dealing with kids and talking to them like they're adults.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? Not talking down to them, not talking baby talk to them, but talking to them like they know what you're talking about. I mean,
exactly.
We're not mincing words. You get it, I get it. We're talking together, and they do get it.
Yep.
I have found that works. You don't.
I think you're right.
We're not being goofy or, yeah.
I think you're right. There's a clown I spoke to a few weeks ago, and he said all he does when the kids are being naughty at a birthday party, he just says to the child, "Look, it's not your party, okay? So just sit down and behave. It's not your party." And normally, they understand.
Right. Yeah. No, they do get it. And if you have to be the person that does the reprimanding, which you shouldn't have to be, but anyway, it may happen, then that is, but you do it quietly and you go, okay, no, that's not okay. Stop doing whatever you're doing. We're done with doing that because it's a party and everybody needs to get along. I think mostly everybody gets it when you do that.
Yeah.
The thing I've found the worst is the lack of thank yous.
Yes.
That sit down in front of you or get the balloon or face painting and they go and they walk off like,
Yeah, sometimes they do treat you.
Okay, no, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And I love the parents who make them sad because they're making them practice that,
Yes.
Yes, you have to say thank you.
Yes.
That's the nice thing.
Parents who make sure their kids treat you like another human being who deserves a bit of respect and thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, a please and thank you. That's awesome, but it is kind of a few and far between type of deal, sadly. And I hate to say that.
Okay.
And I have been at hours long. Not at parties necessarily, but at a corporate type of thing where nobody says it, and somebody will say it, and they go, "Wow, that's the first thank you I've gotten today." They make a point of saying that, like, "Thank you. You taught your kid right. Awesome. That's what I want." So, anyway.
How do I deal with like an unruly kid?
Yeah, so you've got an unruly child in the crowd at a birthday party. Someone who maybe seen you 3 times before, maybe even the same day at another party.
Right, yeah, I mean, usually I do it with my eyes,
Your eyes?
I'll flare up my eyes and say to the kid, hey, look, this is not your party,
right.
So either pipe down or you have to leave. And
you say that, really?
Yeah, I always say otherwise you have to go outside. I think it's pretty innocuous. It's not so harsh. I mean, I say it in front of the parents. I'm not afraid. So I see them, or they see me dealing with the child. So at the same time, I don't hold it any longer. Do you know what I mean? Once I've dealt with the boy, then I don't leave him out. I'll try and involve him and do stuff like that. So he's not just sort of bored and left out. But I mean, usually it works, but. I've got to say, touch wood, I haven't really had so many bad experiences like that. Really. I mean, a few kids are boring and...
Yeah, you get, especially the older kids, they're too cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You get into it. Even though you do love it, really.
Well, that's true, isn't it? But I just tend to ignore them.
Ignore them, yeah.
Just sort of like pretend I haven't heard them and just carry on,
But you find out just a big glare with your eyes saying, pipe down, it's not your party. And then just boom, on with the show. Yay!
Exactly. And somebody showed me one time that, they dealt with kids and they showed that, how they dealt with the child was with their eyes. And they could literally, really control the kids. Because I've got quite ferocious eyes if I want to.
Yeah, you've got
You've got all these
Quiet
extras.
down, little boy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll tell your dad.
Yeah,
You know what your
people
dad's
should
gonna do?
definitely Google you and find out what you look like. Because, you could do the eyes,
The teeth, the hair.
yeah. You've got a lot of things going for you in your appearance.
Yeah, I mean, it's and they're only getting bigger.
For me, if I go too wild and crazy at the start, I can't get the next half hour or 1 hour done because I won't have the control. So I have to structure it carefully to make sure the kids don't go too loopy too early. For me,
I maintain a level of loopiness throughout.
Yeah,
it's I like to think of the kids as this boiling mass of mayhem in front of me, and I just manage to keep it from overflowing.
Yeah.
And that's where the skill set lies. That's really, really difficult to do. And it takes years and years and years to be able to do it well, I think.
Yeah. How do you say one of the kids is starting to become a bit too rambunctious and he's maybe wants to come when you can see him, he's going to start stealing your props or stuff. What methods do you have to make sure that doesn't happen too often?
I tend to bring them up.
Yeah, there you go.
That works. Sometimes you can whisper, have a quick whisper.
Yeah.
I can usually now I can spot I know that kid.
Yeah.
There's only 30 kids. If you're doing there's only 30 different types of kids, and they're all at every party.
Yeah.
And so I think, right, it's going to be you. You're going to be the one that's going to want to get everything out of my bag.
Yeah.
You're going to be the one that wants to kick and bite me.
Yeah.
You're going to be a crier. So I deal with them all straight away.
Yeah.
You know, or make myself aware of them.
I had a really bad gig out here. The worst gig I had was I was working in a courtyard at this apartment complex.
In Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, yeah. And it wasn't anybody's birthday, it was like a going away party for a family. And so I'm in the middle of the courtyard, and the kids who were leaving, who the party was somewhat bored, they're just running up and down and, I can do magic too, I can do magic, and trying to grab my stuff and running back and, running up, and everyone stopped, and I told the parent, and the parents weren't around at all, they're like, oh, go babysit our kids for, entertain the kids for an hour. So finally I had to tap something, can you take control of this child, And like, okay, they said something to him and he left. And then all of a sudden I felt, maybe like 5 minutes later, I feel like water dripping on my head, and I was like, oh no, it's starting to rain. And I look up and I saw these kids on the top floor of the complex, and they're throwing like water down on me. No. So yeah, I had to like grab my stuff and go under the shelter, under the
zero respect sometimes.
Exactly, of course.
Zero
it was horrible. And then at that point, and I mean.
And if you're the entertainer, you're not allowed to get angry. You can't even get as angry as a teacher.
I know,
even that would be too much.
Yeah, right.
A teacher can send someone out of the classroom or give them a detention. You can't even do that.
Yeah, you have no authority there. So and that
do you
point,
have any way of managing the kids when they go out of control?
Like that? Like that one. There's not. I was just saying, okay, time for balloon animals now. I'm just gonna stand there for 45 minutes and do balloons. But then when I was leaving, I don't know what they were talking about. The mom who hired me. She's like, "Oh, that was great. They loved it." Yeah, glad you were paying attention,
Oh, that's brilliant.
It was horrible.
Oh.
So that was a pretty bad one.
And I usually put like a little tea towel on the floor that the dad's meant to drop the crushed potato in. But I've seen the dads throw the potato at the kids. The worst one was I actually saw him crush the potato and just threw it at his daughter.
Oh no!
Yeah. And she's sitting there in a pretty party dress with her hair all braided and it's covered in sort of smashed potato. And you can see he was like, everyone was like,
what are you doing?
What did you do that for?
Yeah.
Because on stilts, you have to be a little bit aggressive sometimes if people get rough with you, because they will push you over.
Yeah.
Which, now I remember the Bowen Island Festival, there was this kid he just kept on hassling us, wanting to push us over, and I was trying to run away from him, and he just would stop. And eventually I lifted my stilt up and he ran into it and he got him right in the stomach, yeah.
Oh no!
And he was down like a sack of spuds and there was a big crowd around him. And it was written about in the local paper.
Oh no!
Bowen Island, and they said they were very impressed by the way they handled the troublesome child.
Oh, it's good.
Kicking him in the gut, yeah.
Good press.
I didn't mean to kick him. I just meant to kick him in the shin or something.
Do you ever get propositioned as a pretty girl?
Quite a lot. Yeah,
You do?
Yeah.
What kind of people approach you after, during a party?
Yeah, well, after when I was 16 or 17, I was doing a party at the football club, and I was eating after the party. His mum was like, "Eat something, eat some food." I'm standing there eating, and this dad comes up to me and he's like chatting to me, and I was like, it's still sort of in princess mode.
The dad?
Yeah, no,
dad?
Just one of the dads, and he's like, I just got a divorce.
Oh, you're laughing.
And I was like, okay, cool. I was 16 or 17, and he was like, can I have your number? And I gave him my business card, which is the office number. He was like, is this your personal number? And I was like, no. And I also had at a corporate thing fairly recently, I was dressed as an elf, which is probably
you still got
the least sexy costume. And one of the dads kept talking about how his wife was in hospital, and then asked me for my number. There's a few stories like that.
Oh my goodness. Any particular race that picks on you?
There's white guys.
White guys.
French guys as well, especially like French dads. But my friend Fabian, he gets propositioned a lot by mothers that, well, not necessarily propositioned outright, but so much flirting going on. He was once like chatting to a group of them, and they were like, because he used to do a lot of acting.
Okay.
And he did the show Equus. And they were like, oh, were you naked? And like, I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, their kids are like right there.
Oh.
And I had one dad actually holding his child while I was making balloons, and he's like, oh, you're really good with your hands. And then, like, the balloon burst, and it kind of looked like a penis, and he was like, what does this look like, Elsa? And I'm like, you're holding your kid, man! And my assistant was just looking at me like, can you believe this guy? Like,
oh, fantastic.
He was so gross. It's not usually outright gross like that, but like that one time was really bad. Like, he was harassing me.
Oh my god.
When I do the magic show, I get all the kids around. I've got my magic show set up on a table. I stand in front of the table, and all the kids are sat directly on the floor in front of me.
Yeah.
And I sat them all down. I said, right, we all ready? Then one little boy shouts out, my mum's seen you without any clothes on. So I said nothing and kind of pretended I didn't hear it, although I heard it loud and clear. And it's like, that must have been around 1993 or even 1992. I mean, it's a long time now, and I can still hear his voice saying that. It'd be amazing. I'd love to meet him again, because he'd be about 30 years old now, I think.
The whole thing is, I mean, why would the mum have told the son that she'd been to a strip show and that she'd seen you naked?
Absolutely.
What was going on in her mind?
This is what makes me wonder more than anything else. It's such a surprise to hear it. I mean, it was really, really funny. Talking about funny, like I said, I'll never forget it, and it's been 25 years, I think, nearly, since it was said. But why would the mother tell the son? That's the only way he could possibly find out, is to have his mother tell him what happened.
And you said it happened at the start of the show. So the mum must have seen you come in and said, hey, straight away to the boy, hey, you see that man? I've seen him naked. He was doing a strip show last night. I was at a strip club and he was there.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. Oh, wow. For my final three jokes, I'd like you to picture me in full clown gear, okay? So I've got polka dot trousers, lime green jacket, a red nose, neon hair, white makeup all over the face, okay? Joke number one. In many countries, if you've got a white face, you can become an English teacher. Didn't work at my job interview. Many women! Hello, ladies. Many women find funny guys attractive.
That's right.
On a first date, don't wear what I did. And finally, I think I'm going to stop wearing clown makeup because it scares the kids. And every time I get home, my wife says, wipe that smile off your face.